Thank you all for attending today. So this is our Voices of Black Youth. This is our opportunity to talk to Black youth and just understand a little bit about what they have been experiencing with their emotional, their educational, and their career pursuits here in the GTA. This event is brought to you by the Village Creative Healing Community, which offers psychoeducational and creative therapy workshops for the Black community, in particular in York Region, but we are open to anybody who wants to join our community, regardless of your racial background or where you live, right? So anybody who wants to join us is welcome to join. So I am Charmaine Johnson, and I'm a career and mental health counselor, and I am also a work integrated learning coordinator at Seneca College. And part of what I've noticed over the last couple of years since we've had this pandemic is that there's been a number of people who have reached out to me in the Black community looking for support. Most of these people tend to be either students in school or young professionals. And again, the pandemic has been hard for everybody, but in particular for our youth. And many of these youth are now aware as well of the systemic biases that exist for them. And so they're trying to navigate how to manage all of this and manage kind of the stress associated with this as well. Many of them talk to me about having to learn how to do things like code switching. So for those of you who don't know what code switching is, it's really just kind of having to adapt and kind of change the way that you're operating in order to function in your workplace or spaces that are not usually a lot of Black people in it. So that's where you might have to change your speech, maybe change your behaviors. So at home, you might feel very comfortable speaking, slang and maybe talking patois, but at work you're talking proper Canadian English and kind of having to change the way that you operate. Another thing that I've seen students often tell me about in young professionals is imposter syndrome. So feeling that they're not really kind of fitting in and having to kind of pretend and not really being able to bring their authentic self to the workplace. So this is some of what we wanted to talk about when we're dealing with the youth today. So I want to thank all of our youth for attending and being able to share some of their experiences with us so that we can learn from them and find out what we can do to better support them. So part of what we're doing today as well is also a bit of an art activity. So a lot of what I tend to do is art therapy. I find it to be very therapeutic and very healing. So everybody who registered for the session today would have received this art activity. So really all it is, it's just this piece of paper with dots on it, similar to what you're seeing there. So if you were not able to print it off, then you can actually just grab a piece of paper and, as I said, have your pencil, crayons, or markers or whatever it would be, and you can just draw similar dots. So just a similar pattern to what you see on the screen. And you're going to just draw some of these dots on a page. And then what I'm going to ask you to also do is just draw lines connecting these dots. Now, however you choose to connect it, it's up to you. So it could be straight lines across, and it can look like little triangles, and however you choose to connect these dots is really up to you. And part of what we're going to do, so I'm going to give you a bit more instruction as we go along, but part of what we'll be doing during this session is you're actually going to be taking some time to, as you're listening to our speakers and hearing what they're trying to tell you, you're also going to be doing some of this art, and I'll just give you some of that instruction throughout the session. And then what will happen towards the end of the session, we're going to actually have an art reveal. So we'll be able to see what everybody was able to create and just kind of, celebrate everybody's work. So if you're drawing your lines now, this is probably what it's going to look like. So I've kind of drawn my lines, and as you can see, it just looks like a bunch of triangles all over the place. So however you choose to do yours, it's up to you. All right. So you draw your lines. And as I say, throughout the session, you'll actually be able to, as you're listening, just continue to do your art. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of instruction. So this is where you have your pencil crayons or your markers, your colored ones. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to make some yellow stars. So wherever you feel like doing it, so you can actually create a legend on the side of your page if you want to. If you're not too sure exactly where you want to put your yellow stars right now, just do a legend on the side that as a picture of a yellow star. But you can put them inside of the boxes however you choose to arrange it. It's going to all be up to you. So the first thing is some yellow stars. The next thing is some red teardrops. So get your red marker, pencil crayons, whatever it would be, and you're going to just make some red teardrops on your page. Okay. Next thing will be some purple squiggles. So whatever that squiggle looks like to you, it's up to you. However, whatever squiggles mean to you, just draw those. So some purple squiggles. Green triangles is next. So make a few green triangles on your page. Now, if you don't have all of these colors, feel free to change it up a little bit, but try to stick to these colors if you can. So green triangles, and then I'll just show you some of what my sheet looks like. So I have my red teardrops. Let me see if I can put it to the camera for you. You can see some red teardrops there. Some of them are colored in, some of them are bigger than others, smaller than others. Here are my purple squiggles. You can see that, right? Some purple squiggles, some longer, some smaller. So again, it's all up to you. Next thing will be some blue diamonds. Blue diamonds. Some orange hearts. Let me show you mine. Here's my orange hearts. Let's see if we can get them close. So some hearts are inside, some big hearts, some smaller hearts, however you choose to do it. And the final color we'll use is pink. So we're going to do some pink, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. It could be letters, it could be numbers, little check marks, arrows, dots, whatever you choose to do. And so our activity throughout this session is really just coloring in this little art piece that we are creating, all right? And as I said, a little bit later in the session, we're gonna do an art reveal. So what I'll just ask everybody to do at that point is just turn on your camera and just hold up your sheet so we can see what everybody was able to do. You don't necessarily have to show your face, but you're just gonna show us your art, all right? So you can work on that as we get started.